As the Boston Celtics enter their media day today, this is a very interesting roster. We have Jaylen Brown, the young small forward slash shooting guard. We have Jason Tatum, the standout rookie last year, played very well in the playoffs. I believe averaged almost 20 points a game. We have Mr. Terry Rozier, who picked up and played pretty good point guard play in the absence of Kyrie Irving, who we see in the front there. We have Mr. Gordon Hayward, who broke his foot in the first game of the season versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. We have Al Horford right there. We have one of the twins up there, and we have Marcus Smart. Now, this is a very, very talented roster, very young roster. But the Boston Celtics have a problem, and they may have too much talent. And they certainly have a lot of players that play the same positions. Now, with the NBA going small ball, the Celtics can bring out a lineup of Kyrie Irving at the point guard position, Jaylen Brown at shooting guard, Jason Tatum at small forward, Gordon Hayward at power forward, and Al Horford at center. To me, that's a very, very talented, multifaceted starting five. That starting five actually can match up very well versus the Golden State starting five if they wish to play them in the NBA Finals, if Boston and the Warriors both get there. But the one thing, the one red herring is that last year when Kyrie Irving had to go, get his knee fixed, and because he had some screws in his knee that got his knee infected, and Mr. Gordon Hayward had broke his foot. That opened the door for a young Jason Tatum, who, if Gordon Hayward didn't get hurt or Kyrie Irving didn't get hurt, yes, Jason Tatum would have got some playing time, but he would not have gotten the playing time that he received through the remainder of the season and into the playoffs. So when Gordon Hayward went down and Kyrie went down, it accelerated the process of Jason Tatum, and he more than answered the bell. Like I said, he had a very good playoff series versus the Philadelphia 76ers. He had one against the Milwaukee Bucks, and it culminated against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And he had a very, very, I'm pretty sure he has this poster in his house or apartment or wherever his residence is, of a dunk that he dunked on LeBron James. And it's going to be some battles in Boston land. The first battle is going to be the coach and how he's going to cultivate the playing time, because Jason Tatum came out and said that he's been working on his game, and he thinks that playing time is up to the coach to dole out the playing time and keep all the players happy. But I think the second matchup challenge or Boston has is Mr. Terry Rozier feel like that he should be the starter, and this is his contract year, I believe. So he's going to go at Kyrie Irving very hard in practice, but Kyrie Irving, this is also his contract year. So the Boston Celtics and Danny Ainge, which Danny Ainge has done a great job of cultivating draft picks and young players over the last 3 or 4 years. When he traded off Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Mr. Rajon Rondo, and some of those other players, and he was able to get draft picks from teams and pull off a heist, and really, really, really rebuild this Boston Celtics roster in a very good way. But like I said, too much talent is not good, especially too much young talent. Especially when the young talent feels that they're better than the older players on the team. And believe me, Terry Rozier thinks he should be a starter. Kyrie Irving knows he's supposed to be a starter because he has proven, championship pedigree being with the Cleveland Cavaliers and hitting that big shot against Golden State. And, by him and Terry Rozier both having contract years, I'm pretty sure Danny Ainge will sit down and talk to Kyrie Irving, see what his mind is, see if Kyrie Irving would want to be with the Boston Celtics long term. I mean, is it a good situation with Boston? To me, it's a great situation with Kyrie. Kyrie is the alpha on the team. Kyrie is the better player on the team, and it's established. Now, would he like to stay in Boston? That's a story for another day. I believe if they win and go to the NBA Finals and play Golden State really, really hard, and maybe, upset Golden State, or at least take it to a Game 7, and Kyrie feel like this team is, a year away. The only reason why they didn't beat Golden State because of the maturity. They had young players like Jaylen Brown, Terry Rozier, and Jason Tatum that were not ready to win yet. Then I believe he will stay. But if they get the doors blown off of them, I believe he will leave. But like I said, Kyrie in practice will have to put Terry Rozier back at the starter, back at the bag up point guard role mentally. You know what I'm saying? So that Terry Rozier will say in his mind that, yes, I'm not better than Kyrie, but I can probably start on another team. But if he doesn't do that, if Kyrie, kind of loses a half step, or he's not all the way ready, to play at a high level at the beginning of training camp, that will be a problem between him and Terry Rozier. The next problem is they have a gluttony of small forwards with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Mr. Gordon Hayward, who signed a big contract last year. So he's coming off a foot injury. I'm pretty sure Danny Ainge want to at least see him play. I'm sure that Danny Ainge will have a trade in the works. You have to trade. You have to package a couple of these guys with a couple of other those draft picks that Danny Ainge has cultivated. And just, to me, he has to try to go get Anthony Davis. Because I believe if you trade, I don't think Danny Ainge want to trade Terry Rozier unless he knows for sure that Kyrie Irving is coming back, because Terry Rozier will be the insurance policy. But he will have to at least package probably Gordon Hayward and a Jaylen Brown and another one of those draft picks to try to pull away Anthony Davis. Because Anthony Davis will fit very well amongst Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, and Al Horford. But we will have to see how it all pans out. Like I said, this is the new wave of the NBA, so they can go small ball. Like I said, with Kyrie at point, Jason Tatum at small forward, Mr. Jaylen Brown at shooting guard, and Gordon Hayward at power forward, and Al Horford at center. And that, to me, that's a potent lineup. And another thing they have to do is, get back in order, the pecking order, because Kyrie is definitely the first option now. All these other players are going to be fighting to see who's the second option. That's what Brad Stevenson has to cultivate an offense to where each and every one of these players, which Brad Stevens is he's a smart, brilliant coach. He will be able to implement an offense that all these guys can touch the ball on any given possession, and will be able to run some offense through each one of these guys, at any given time of the game, and be able to keep rhythm of the offense. Because one thing you don't want guys out there trying to play hero ball and trying to play for their own agenda. That's one thing when you have young players, because one thing about young players, they don't see their basketball immortality, in right there in front of them. According to them, they don't see it at all, because they're too young and too naive right now. Right now, they want to establish themselves as quote unquote superstars or stars, and like the NBA and sports are now today is about branding. They want to play and cultivate a certain brand for themselves, and they have people talking in their ear saying, "Man, you the man. As long as you can get more shots." And like I said, too much talent sometimes can be a bad thing, but it can be a good thing if all these guys come together on one mental accord and say, okay, we're going to win a championship, or we're going to play for each other, and we're going to sacrifice for each other. That's the most important word, sacrifice. Are they willing to sacrifice for one another? If these guys are willing to sacrifice for one another, this is a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous team for Golden State. But let me know what y'all think. But, Danny Ainge, I'm pretty sure he will figure it out. And I'm pretty sure Brad Stevenson will figure out the right, offense and the right temperament for the team. I'm out. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon.